The next section of the syllabus deals with something most of you probably have no interest in whatsoever, namely how you're going to be grading this course. Nonetheless, I feel compelled to let you know, and it won't change throughout the course of the semester. Okay, but here is what I do. In fact, I use a system that's known in the education field as specifications grading. That is, a lot of time people just take an average of what you get on various tests, an average number, and that determines your grade. And I'm not sure that that's the best way of grading how well you've mastered the material, but rather the idea behind this specifications grading is that most you need to be able to do a certain number of things, and basically it's done on a pass fail kind of grading. If you think about it, if you take a bar exam, that is an exam to be admitted to the bar, if you're a lawyer and you want to be admitted to practice law, you have to take this bar exam. You don't get a grade on a number of points, but rather they determine a threshold at which you either have passed or you have not passed. Now you're doing various things in the course, and they're going to add up to various um, percentages of how the grade is going to be determined, but it's always going to be determined by whether you pass or fail to pass. And in fact, sometimes certain things I have actually a high pass that could even improve your grade. But let's go through it, and I think you'll understand a little bit better how this works. It might be a little confusing, but I hope to clear it up now. Okay, now, first thing, first issue or the first set of components that are going to go into grading your course, and it's going to be worth about 65%, 65 points of the grade, are the assignments that I give, quizzes, case studies, online discussions, discussion boards that you can do, and those are going to add up to 65% for points, and I'll explain to you how that's going to be graded. First, I want to give you an overview of the grading, and then we'll dig down into each component. The next component is that you will be given two what I call objective, that is multiple choice or multiple choice and short answer um, tests during the course of the semester. One will be given, there's going to be an objective midterm, a multiple choice midterm, and a multiple choice final. Both of these are going to be worth 5 points each on your total grade. And as you see, I reserve the right to replace the two tests with a larger number of shorter quizzes. We'll see how things work during the course of the semester. But the goal is to have a midterm and a final, each one worth 5 points. And finally, there are going to be two essay exams, again, midterm and a final, roughly. And if you're wondering when the midterm is going to take place, it'll probably be sometime after the sixth week at his academic week of the course, not necessarily a calendar week, but if you know something about our course schedule, our courses are 12-week courses. That is, we have 12 weeks of class and then finals. So the middle of the semester hits at week 6, so week 7 or so, the midterm, the various components of the midterm will come up, and there'll be an objective part, a multiple choice part, and an essay part. Each of the essays, and there'll be one at the final also. Each of these essays, it'll be one or two essay questions each, and they'll be worth 10 points each or 20 points. You can see the essays will be a little bit more important, but don't get nervous yet if you don't think you're a great writer and you're worried about that component. And I want to mention that points will be added to the course total if you show improvement over the course of the semester or if you've done extra work. But now let's go into each of these components to understand how they in particular get graded. And that is, here's the scale for assignments, etc. The assignments, the things that you've been submitting all along. I'm gonna assign 65 points, or give you 65 points, or you even better, the truth is you will earn 65 points if you've submitted 80% or more assignments that show that you had a good faith effort. It doesn't mean that you got the questions right necessarily, or that you got the material 100% right, but just that you really made a good faith effort to answer the questions, and as you tried what you do. Now you're gonna get things wrong, so I wouldn't worry about it. So it's really this 65 points. If you submit 80% of the stuff, you're going to get the full 65 points, whether you got the answers right or wrong. Now, each assignment that you'll be getting will be graded, and I might have mentioned this earlier, on the following scale. It's going to be a check, a plus, or a minus. And these are going to be translated into numbers. And let's go from the top. A plus, the highest grade, is going to be worth 4 points. We're going to be recorded as 4 points. A check is going to be recorded as 3 points. You'll get 2 points minus, and these are the satisfactory grades, which just means not that you got the answers necessarily right, but that you showed a good faith effort in doing it. And in fact, that's why we're talking about a good faith effort here. Okay, you will get a 1 if you submitted it, but it's not going to count towards the 80%. And a 0 will be what happens if you didn't hand it in at all. So really the grades that you need are a 2 or above. A 2 or a minus means, it was a good try, but I can see you put effort in, but you didn't get the answer right. A check means, hey, you got a correct answer. And a plus means you did really very well. Now, if you do 80% of them that receive a 2 or higher, you have gotten a good faith effort grade for them, you will get 65 points. If you submitted somewhere between 70% and 79%, that is less than 80, above 70 but less than 80%, if you've submitted that percentage that exhibit a good faith effort, you will be assigned 55 points towards the total number of points in the course. Next item, objective exams. Again, the exams will be graded on a pass or no pass scale. That is, in order to pass, you need approximately 70% of the answers answered correctly, and that's on the multiple choice. So you'll get, if you've gotten 70 or better, you'll be awarded 5 points. If you've gotten less than 70, you will be awarded no points. And if you didn't hand in the exam at all, 5 points will be deducted from your total. The idea is regardless, you need to hand in the objective exam. Okay, so that's the scale on the objective exam. Now, the essay exams, you'll get 5 points for a pass. That is, if what you've handed in shows that you have a good understanding, a satisfactory understanding of the material, and you've developed the right skills, you get a 5. If you show a clear mastery of the material and skills, you'll get a 10 points for what I call a high pass. You'll get no points if you don't pass, but 5 points will be deducted if you don't submit the essay exam in a timely fashion. I'm not going to accept them late. If you have an excuse, get in touch with me. We'll worry about it then. But right now, I just want you to get an idea how these points are going to be awarded. So if you see, and I should mention we're going to add, and I mentioned it early, we'll add points, maybe additional points if you participate, if you really do you get a lot of pluses, you do really good work, but something's come up on your test. I'm going to give you a few extra points to kind of as extra credit there. Okay, now the question is, how is this going to add up to your total grade? So here's the way the course grade is going to work. If we start, remember, you get full credit, 65 points for the assignments that you're doing, the 65% assignments. And if you get past both the midterm multiple choice and the final multiple choice, so that's 5 points apiece, so you get 10. So we've gone 65, we're up to 75. And now if you get a high pass, which is 10 points on the midterm and the final, you end up with 95 points. And that 95 points is what will get you an A in the course. Now, if you do all the assignments, you do give a good college try on them, 65%. You get two for your pass, both the midterm multiple choice and the final multiple choice. Gets you another 10 points. You're up to 75. And if you just pass the two essay exams, you will end up with a B in the course. It'll be 85 points, and that's how we'll get it. And remember, if you don't hand something in, you're not going to end up with that average, so that's not going to get you there. In order to get a C in a course, if you do get the 65 points and you pass the midterm and the midterm and the final, that'll get you up to 75. It'll get you a C in a course, and that's assuming you didn't pass the essays. Or alternatively, if you didn't pass these exams but did well enough to pass the essay exams and got 5 points, you'll get 10 points that way. So you see the essay exams are going to count a little bit more. That's going to get you up to a C level. A D is going to get you the 65 points. If you pass, do 85% of the work and hand in all the other stuff, but don't pass it, you could get a 65. It could be a little bit lower if your grade has been going down, but you have a chance for a D at least that way. And grades are A plus, A minus. They left out A plus there. It should say A plus, A minus, B plus, B minus, C plus, C minus, D plus are going to be awarded for scores between these two. So the way it adds up, if you haven't submitted something, you've lost 5 points, and you've gotten a high pass on an essay, it's going to balance out. But in any event, if you're between these two levels, you will be, and depending on whether you've gotten any extra credit points, that is, you've been increasing, doing better, improving throughout the course of the semester, you could end up with one of these grades with a plus or minus behind it. Okay, F if you end up with less than 65 points. Now you'll get, if you have violated the academic integrity policy, in other words, if you've plagiarized or if you've been cheating on exam and you're caught cheating, and I do catch students cheating, you may, depending on how severe it is, you could end up with a D or an F in the course. I usually give you a D because it's more of a problem. If you get an F, you can repeat the course and not have any consequences. If you get a D, you can repeat the course, but it gets averaged into your average. Okay. You will get a WU assigned if you don't submit a sufficient amount of work, which is the equivalent of stopping to attend the course. So if it's an online course, you haven't submitted enough work. If it's if it's an in-class course, you're going to have to, if you've stopped to attending, you could end up with a WU. Keep in mind, you do not want to have a WU because a WU can have some significant bad consequences on things like your financial aid, which will become a problem.